Live from Pheno Field here in Milford, My FM 101.3 is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion baseball. Good evening, everybody. Tim Coet here with you once again, finally back at home after a lengthy road trip for Post 59. So it was 4 games on the road consecutively for Post 59, dating back to last Wednesday. So it's been 6 days since Milford last played a game here on their home field. They ended up going 3-2 over the span of that road swing, or excuse me, 2-2 I should say, over that road swing. Victories against Northborough and Maine South, losses to Grafton Hill and Cherry Valley. So as a result, Milford comes back here to Pheno Field with an overall record now on the season of 10-5. They continue to reside in 4th place in the Zone 4 standings. They have carved out a position for themselves in 4th for the majority of the last couple of weeks, still trailing Leominster, Shrewsbury, and Grafton Hill as we enter into a new week here now into the month of July and continuing to get closer to the end of the regular season. So as we've talked about over the last couple of days, each and every game crucial, every victory crucial to try to keep pace or potentially move up in those standings. So Milford opening up with 7 of their final 9 games of the regular season coming up here at Pheno Field. Plenty of home cooking, and it gets started here tonight in the second meeting of the season against Sturbridge Post 109. Manage again, it has been a brutal stretch of late for Post 59. They'll have a couple of off days this week to start to rest up and recharge for the playoffs, and also continuing to contend with the heat, which will once again be a factor in this game today. But everyone is ready to go, and that is our injury report. Again, brought to you by Milford Regional Medical Center, earning an A grade in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group. And with that, we will head right into today's starting lineups. Those are brought to you by the Blair House of Milford. And we start with the visitors. That is Sturbridge Post 109. Leading it off is their shortstop, Mick Sullivan. Jared Langevin, the second baseman, bats second, with Tyler Stover batting third and playing first base. Avery Weatherby bats fourth and plays right field, with Jonathan Reardon, the catcher, batting fifth. Patrick Wilber is the left fielder, batting sixth, with Colin Eliason, the center fielder, batting seventh. Roman Krokmelnitsky is the third baseman, batting eighth, and in the ninth spot, serving as the designated hitter, is Devin Kingman. And for Milford Post 59, their starting lineup looks like this. Leading it off is the center fielder, Shawn Rabello. Tommy Amberzoni is the right fielder, batting second, with Aiden Wild batting third and playing third. Sam Parker is the designated hitter tonight, batting cleanup, with Alex Reynolds in left field batting fifth. Tyler Almeida plays first base and bats sixth, with Jacob Beater catching and batting seventh. Matt Shaver is the second baseman, batting eighth, and in the ninth spot, playing shortstop, is Chris Brunt. And your pitching matchup in the game, it is Justin Metcalf, the starter for Post 59, just concluding his warm-up tosses. He will be opposed on the Sturbridge side by Spencer Cipro. And so again, warm conditions here at Pheno Field. It is 86 degrees here as we get to 7 o'clock in the evening. Warm conditions as Justin Metcalf is ready to deal in the first pitch of the game, and it's immediately sent on the ground to second base, right to Matt Shaver, who will field and fire to Tyler Almeida at first. And Mick Sullivan immediately retired on just one pitch. So getting this game going right at the stroke of 7 o'clock. Tim Collette here with you once again on My FM's coverage of Milford Legion baseball. Starting a stretch of 7 home games that will serve as 7 of the final 9 games of the regular season, as now Jared Langevin swings at the first pitch. He will pop it out into right field. It'll fall down into the glove of Tommy Amberzoni, and it is 2 up and 2 down on 2 pitches here in the top of the first inning. Defensively for Post 59, it is Jacob Beater behind the plate, Aiden Wild at third, Chris Brunt at short, Matt Shaver at second, and Tyler Almeida at first. Left to right in the outfield, Alex Reynolds, Shawn Rabello, and Tommy Amberzoni. Tyler Stover now waiting to dig in as Justin Metcalf has breezed through the first 2 outs on just 2 pitches. And now Stover swings at the first pitch. He pops it up on the infield. It's there for Chris Brunt, who makes the catch, and with just 3 pitches, Justin Metcalf is able to set down the side in order. Sturbridge goes quickly and quietly in about 90 seconds in this top of the first inning. And we will head to the bottom half of the frame. Post 59 will take their first swings of the game when we come back next on coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on My FM 101.3. Well, if you tuned in about a minute and a half late to our broadcast here tonight, you missed the top of the first inning as Sturbridge was set down on just 3 pitches from Justin Metcalf. Mick Sullivan a ground out to second base, Jared Langevin a pop out to right, and Tyler Stover a pop out to short. And just like that, Milford will now come to the plate for the home half of the first, where they will send Shawn Rabello, Tommy Ambrosoni, and Aiden Wild to the plate against the right-handed starter, Spencer Cipro. He's been very effective in the starting rotation for Sturbridge this season. Sturbridge coming into action today at 6-11 overall on the season. They currently reside in 10th place in the zone standings, but a playoff spot is not out of reach for Sturbridge. They are just a game out of that number 8 spot, so there are several teams that are jammed up very close together when you look at really spots 7 through 12 in the standings. Not many teams out of the mix for a playoff spot here deep into the second half of the season, as Shawn Rabello will take an inside pitch off the hip, and he will head down to first base. So Rabello hit by the pitch. He is at first base now ahead of Tommy Ambrosoni. And immediately Roman Krokmelnitsky at third base will step in right even with the lip of the infield grass, aware of the bunting ability of Tommy Ambrosoni. He does not show bunt on the first pitch. He swings away and sends it foul and out of play off to the left. Defensively for Sturbridge, it's Jonathan Reardon behind the plate, Roman Krokmelnitsky at third, Mick Sullivan at short, Jared Langevin at second, and Tyler Stover at first. Left to right in the outfield, Patrick Wilber, Colin Eliason, and Avery Weatherby. The lead for Shawn Rabello at first base, and a slow pickoff attempt by Spencer Cipro. Shawn Rabello able to take a couple of steps back to the bag. Just more of a check-in from the starting pitcher. And immediately now, Rabello takes off. The pitch was in for a strike. The throw down to second base is not going to be in time. The shortstop came in to field the throw, but it drifted far towards the first base side of the bag. And Shawn Rabello once again with a stolen base. For Rabello, that is stolen base number 15 on the season. Ambrosoni now with a swing and a miss, so he is down on 3 pitches. First strikeout of the game for Cipro. So the runner at second base now with 1 down for Aiden Wild, who enjoyed a 2-hit day yesterday at Hanover Insurance Park at Holy Cross. One of those hits, a 2-run home run that traveled far over the left field fence. Now swings at the first pitch and hits it on the ground, back up the middle for a base hit. Shawn Rabello hits third base. He will be waved home. The throw will come into the center of the diamond. The first baseman will collect it. And Shawn Rabello crosses home plate with the first Milford run of the game. Aiden Wild, an RBI single. And Milford able to take a 1-0 lead.
Now at the plate, number 16, the designated hitter, Sam Parker.
First inning offense here once again for Post 59. It started to make a return over these last several games. Scoring runs in the first inning in each of their 4 games over the weekend road trip, which resulted in 2 victories and 2 losses. A 1-ball with no strike count now on Sam Parker. Parker feeling some slight arm soreness coming into the field to warm up today, so Coach DeVito electing to put him in the DH spot, keeping him off the field defensively. Sam did pitch out of the bullpen for Milford in Saturday's loss to Cherry Valley. It's a 2-ball, no strike count now. Aiden Wild, the lone base runner at first, as Parker takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Alex Reynolds is the on-deck hitter. The set by Cipro as Aiden Wild takes off for second base. The pitch high, the throw down to second base is high, and Wild slides in safely. The second Milford steal of the inning. Another runner in scoring position. Boston Red Sox baseball just getting underway. We'll have more on that after the 3-1 pitch into Sam Parker. And it misses inside for ball 4. So that puts runners at first and second base now with 1 down ahead of Alex Reynolds. The Red Sox opening up a series on the road in our nation's capital, taking on the Washington Nationals. And facing Max Scherzer to open up the series. The Red Sox continuing a road trip that saw them lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees in New York. Alex Reynolds now swinging at the first pitch. He loops it out into right field. Underneath is Weatherby. He makes the catch. And a rare out committed by Alex Reynolds, who had slipped back into an unconscious groove at the plate.
Now at the plate, number 4.
Reached base 4 times in the game yesterday with a couple of hits and a couple of runs batted in. And reached base all 4 times he came to the plate on Saturday at Cherry Valley. Also drove in multiple runs in the game against Northborough on Friday, but this time out number 2. But Tyler Almeida swinging at the first pitch, grounds it hard through the right side for a base hit. Aiden Wild trying to score from second base, and he will. He slides in safely to the plate. The throw-in was in front of the plate, and Reardon had trouble handling it. No problem for Wild to slide in behind with the second Milford run of the game. So Tyler Almeida, first pitch swinging, grounds an RBI single.
Now batting number 3, the catcher.
Milford takes a 2-0 lead. Parker stopped at second base, so runners at first and second now with 2 down, and a chance for Jacob Beater. Parker getting out to a big lead at second base. Cipro to the set now, and he'll step off. He sees that lead for Parker at second and looks him back to the bag. Parker bounces right back out as the pitch now comes to the plate and misses up and in on Beater. Jacob getting the start at catcher tonight. And a lot of wear and tear on some of these primary starting players. A lot of games in not a lot of days and a lot of heat. So Alex Reynolds getting a break from behind the plate. He's out in left field tonight, and Beater gets the catching duties. It's the first time he's caught a pitcher other than his high school teammate Jack Tempesta. He's in the driver's seat in this at bat now, ahead 3 balls and no strikes. Beater's been productive at the plate overall on the season. The batting average at .350. He's driven in 7 runs, has a couple of runners on base here, and takes a borderline pitch for a called strike. 3-1 now as the runners lead away. The pitch is hit on the ground towards third base. A diving attempt for Krok Melniczki, but it gets past him. Parker hustling around the bases. Here comes the throw in from left field. It's too far up the third base line as Parker scores. An RBI single for Jacob Beater, and that will give Milford now a 3-0 lead. So Almeida and Beater both with 2-out RBI singles to keep the Milford rally going. Milford has been aggressive on the bases in this first inning. A couple of steals. 2 runners coming around to score from second base, testing the corner outfield arms.
Back to work, that's all. Let's go.
Once again, it's runners at first and second with Almeida as the lead runner. And a called strike dealt in to Matt Shaver. Shaver seeing the batting average dip under 200 at 195. Trying to find it again at the plate. Now takes the pitch inside, evening the count at 1-1. And now a swing and a slow ground ball towards first base. A late break for both pitcher and second baseman to cover the first base bag. Shaver safe. The throw gets away, rolls into foul territory, and that will allow Almeida to come around to score to make it a 4-0 game. could see Cipro was slow getting off the mound. And as the first baseman charged in to field the slow ground ball, neither the pitcher nor the second baseman was able to get to the bag in time. But a throw went to first base anyway. It got away, and that allowed Almeida to come around from second base to score. And now Chris Blunt swings at the first pitch, hits it deep on the ground at shortstop. Over the top throw from Mick Sullivan is on the money to first base for the out that ends the inning, but Milford puts a 4 spot on the scoreboard. They send all 9 men to the plate. And so an early 4-0 lead for Milford over Sturbridge here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Well, Justin Metcalf, after breezing his way through the top half of the first inning, watched his offense score 4 times on 4 hits in the bottom half of the inning to take control early. So Metcalf now will face Avery Weatherby, Jonathan Reardon, and Patrick Wilber, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Sturbridge batting order. Really good crowd here at Pheno Field tonight. Many of the Sturbridge fans making the drive out to Milford to take in the game, and beautiful weather. Starting to cool down a bit now with the sun setting. And Justin Metcalf sends the first pitch in for a called strike 1. Avery Weatherby not swinging at that first pitch as he watched his 3 teammates do in the first. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's high. Metcalf making his 2nd start of the 2018 season. Overall, it's his 5th appearance on the pitcher's mound. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's hit on the ground to first base. That stays in fair territory, fielded by Almeida, and he takes it to the first base bag, and out number 1 is recorded. A 1-1 record for Metcalf.
That brings up number 22, the catcher, Shawn Rabello.
In a 12 2/3 innings pitched, Metcalf has allowed 12 hits, 6 runs, only 2 of them earned. He's walked just 3 batters to 12 strikeouts. Opposing hitters are batting .260 against Metcalf. He comes in with a 1.11 ERA. Is Jonathan Reardon at the plate with 1 out and the base is empty. He sends a shallow pop-up out to right center field and perfectly placed to drop in between the trio of Shawn Rabello and Ambrosoni, and that is how Sturbridge gets their first base runner of the night.
Coming to the plate, number 16, the left fielder.
Shallow pop-up, Shaver racing onto the shallow right center field grass. Rabello and Ambrosoni charging in from their outfield post, but it drops in between them. And Reardon on as the first Sturbridge base runner, with now Patrick Wilber at the plate on the right side. And he takes a called strike on the outside corner. Milford defeated Sturbridge in their 3rd game of the season all the way back on June 16th. It was a 13-3 Mercy Rule victory up at Tantascwa Regional High School. Milford gaining separation quickly in that game. Tommy Leone making his first start in a Milford Post 59 uniform, picking up the win. Here's an 0-2 pitch now, and it's floated towards second base. That will get over the extended glove of Matt Shaver. The runner Reardon touches second base, moving on to third. Here's the throw. And the runner is going to be safe at third base. The home plate umpire charging down the line, and now, no, they will call Reardon out. Looking to the infield umpire for the call. We did not see one, but apparently the home plate umpire came down the line, made the ruling. And so Reardon thrown out at third base, trying to go first to third. A nice throw from the Milford outfield to cut down the lead runner, so it's now 2 outs in the inning, a runner at second base, and now a line drive single for Colin Eliason. Rounding third base, and now getting the stop sign is Patrick Wilber being held up at third base. It was Reardon who was thrown out at third. So back ends up being 3 consecutive singles, Reardon, Wilber, and now Eliason. As Sturbridge continues to aggressively swing early in counts, but the base running miscue costing them a run so far in the inning. So it is Patrick Wilber as the lead runner at third. Eliason is at first. And a 1-ball, no-strike count on the number 8 hitter, Roman Krokmelnitsky. And now a called strike will even the count. Long look in now for Metcalf. Having to work much harder here in the second inning. Runner takes off for second base. Beater's going to send the throw down, and it is there waiting as Eliason is thrown out by about 5 feet trying to steal second base, and that will conclude the inning. So Sturbridge commits 2 outs on the bases, and they run their way right out of a potential rally. We'll head right on to the bottom of the second inning now. It remains 4-0 in favor of Milford here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Sturbridge coming away with 3 hits in the top half of the second inning. 3 consecutive hits, but yet they failed to score a run. As Jonathan Reardon was thrown out trying to advance from first to third on the single by Patrick Wilber, and then with 2 outs in the inning, Colin Eliason thrown out trying to steal second base. And now Shawn Rabello up for the second time in the game, swings at the first pitch of the inning and promptly sends it up through the middle for a base hit. So on base for the second time, he was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Milford sent all 9 batters to the plate in the bottom of the first. So once again, it's the top 3 hitters up to lead off the second inning against Spencer Cipro. And now a lob toss over to first base to check in on Rabello, who did steal in the first. Now the pitch into Ambrosoni, and that just grabs a piece of the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Ambrosoni struck out in the first. He came into the game tonight with the batting average at .417. 15 hits in a total of 36 at-bats. And now watches a pitch miss down and in. It skips away from the catcher, and Shawn Rabello down to second base. Goes about halfway down the line between second and third before coming to a stop and wandering back to the second base bag. It's on the wild pitch. The runner gets into scoring position. And the 1-1 on the way to Ambrosoni. He lets it go. It misses low for ball 2. Scoreless after 1 inning of play between the Red Sox and the Nationals. And Ambrosoni now jumps ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. The Red Sox and the Yankees closed out that series in a dead tie for first place atop the AL East standings. The Red Sox went into the series a game up, with the Yankees taking 2 out of 3. Ambrosoni taking a pitch out into right field, down for a hit. A hard charge around third base for Shawn Rabello. It looked like initially he was going to run through the stop sign from Coach DeVito, but finally put the brakes on. Sets up runners at the corners. Consecutive base hits to open up the second inning. Milford now up to 6 hits already in the game. And now Aiden Wild at the plate. He drove in the first run of the first inning with a single. And Ambrosoni now takes off for second base. No throw from Reardon. So an uncontested steal. Both of these teams extremely aggressive on the bases. Milford's had a little more success than Sturbridge has so far. Now the 0-1, and it's flared out towards second base. Ranging in front of the bag is Mick Sullivan to make the catch. And Wild is retired.
Coming to the plate, number 16, the designated
Runners stay put at second and third base with 1 down now for Sam Parker. Parker walked and scored in the bottom of the first. Carried a .333 batting average into tonight's action. And now has to jump out of the way of a pitch down and in. Nice job by Reardon sliding behind the left side batter's box to keep that pitch from going to the backstop. It would have meant another run. For now, Rabello holds at the third base bag. And now a 1-0 pitch into Parker is sent over the backstop, foul for strike one. It's a big day of action around Zone 4 today. Grand total of 6 games on the schedule, with this one here at Pheno included. We'll start to tell you about those games around the zone for tonight. We'll catch you up on all of the final scores from the Zone 4 day at Holy Cross yesterday as well. Now a 1-1 pitch into Parker. He lifts it in the air out to left field. Patrick Wilber settles underneath to make the catch. Tagging at third base is Rabello. The throw to the plate is not going to be close. Rabello scores, and Ambrosoni able to tag up and advance to third base. So Parker credited with the sacrifice fly. And Milford able to take now a 5-0 lead. They have a runner at third base with 2 outs for Alex Reynolds. Reynolds, after another productive day yesterday, rose his batting average with runners in scoring position up to .577. Currently in a 3-game hitting streak. The batting average overall for the season for Alex currently at .455, which is best on the team. He has the RBI lead as well at 20. He's second on the team in hits with 20. Rabello, the only one with more, with 21. Reynolds now with a deep drive out to the gap in right center field. A long run for the center fielder, Eliason, and he ends up making a sliding catch. Cradled that ball against his midsection to make sure he didn't drop it as he went into the slide. A very nice play, a rangy play from Eliason to collect the final out of the inning. Milford does grab an additional run. They take a 5-0 lead on Sturbridge as we complete 2 innings of play from Pheno Field. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Milford continues to be in a good groove at the plate. They come into this game having scored double digits in 2 out of their last 3. They've scored at least 9 runs in their last 3 straight. They've scored 5 times through the first 2 innings, as now Melnichki sends one hard on the ground to second base. Shaver had to slide to his left. He kept the ball on the infield. It popped briefly out of his glove, but he was able to keep it in front and eventually fire to first base to get the out. Shaver with such great lateral movement. No matter which middle infield spot he's placed at, he's able to field his position with ease. Grabbing the first out of the inning, and now here's a fly ball down the left field line into foul territory and out of the reach of Alex Reynolds. Devin Kingman with a long strike one, so Roman Krokmelnitsky out number 1, another fast out. Krokmelnitsky was at the plate with 2 on and 2 outs in the second inning when the runner was caught stealing to end the inning. Kingman now with another foul ball out of play to fall behind in the count 0-2. We're in the top half of the third inning now here at Pheno Field. The first of 3 straight games here at Pheno, with a couple of off days mixed in between. Milford with games here tonight, Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday, the 4th of July meeting with Framingham at 11 a.m., and then a Friday night showdown against Shrewsbury as Kingman swings and misses on an elevated fastball. The first strikeout of the game for Justin Metcalf.
That brings up number 7, the shortstop.
He's already 2 outs deep in the top of the third inning. And will now go second time through the Sturbridge order. Mick Sullivan at the plate. Sullivan a ground out in his first at bat. He watches the first pitch miss low for ball one. The command has been much sharper for Metcalf here in this start compared to what we saw in his first start of the season, which came against Grafton Hill. That was back on Wednesday on the road. And still a good outing overall for Metcalf. He went 6 innings, a complete game effort in the loss. Allowed just 2 earned runs on 7 hits and did have 5 strikeouts, lower strikeout total so far through the first 2 2/3, but pitching to contact and getting a lot of quick outs. He has fallen behind Eliason, however, 3-0 before now firing in a strike. Milford is once again in the home gold jerseys. It's typically a look that they only sport here at home. Now Metcalf missing outside with the pitch, so Sullivan will work the walk. And so now Jared Langevin will have a chance to come to the plate in the top half of the third. Langevin popped out to right field in his first at bat. And he'll take the first pitch for a called strike one. We did not see Langevin in the starting lineup when these two teams met back on the 16th. Runner slowly walks out to a lead at first base. As Metcalf now fires to the plate, gets a ground ball rolled to shortstop. Brunt with the toss to second base to collect the force out that will end the inning. Force play goes 6-4 as Milford concludes the top half of the third inning. Metcalf pitches around the 2-out walk. It is still a 5-0 Milford lead over Sturbridge. Here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. It will be Tyler Almeida who will lead off the Milford offense in the bottom half of the third inning. Milford scoring 5 times on 6 hits through the first 2. They lead it 5-0. And Almeida takes the first pitch down and in from the Sturbridge starter, Spencer Cipro. Post 59 now with some action loosening in the bullpen. As you heard from Coach DeVito during our New England Flooring Coaches Corner, he mentioned that this was going to be a bullpen kind of day. Metcalf has breezed along, all things considered, through the first 3 innings. Did allow 3 hits in the second, but no runs allowed. It is Tim Kenny currently warming up in the Milford bullpen with a 2-ball, 1-strike count on the batter at the plate. Tyler Almeida, who singled to drive in a run in the first. Now takes a pitch high and outside. And Almeida ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. Tyler with that batting average close to 300 now, up to 295. He's been heating up over this last week. Sends a foul ball high up and over the backstop to fill the count. Almeida working on a 3-game hitting streak. Cipro back to the set. Here is his 3-2 pitch. Almeida sticks the bat out, sends it foul off to the left. Krok-Milnicki gave it a look, but over the third base dugout and out of play. Still a 3-2 count. Almeida up now, Jacob Beater on deck. Both came through with RBI singles their first time around. And the pitch sent in the air out to center field. Eliason towards the right center gap. Settles and makes the catch. Almeida out number 1 of the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Now at the plate, number 3, the catcher, Jacob Beater.
Start to roll through. Again, we'll start with some of the final scores from yesterday's Zone 4 at Holy Cross Day action, which was actually day 1 of a 2-day affair. A couple of games being played out at Holy Cross today, 3 in all, but first, the final scores from yesterday. It was Northborough with a 6-3 win over Eastside. Cherry Valley, who came back in extra innings to beat the Sturbridge team 5-4. Here's an 0-1 pitch inside to Beater. Milford then with the 3rd game on the day walked away with a 10-3 victory over Maine South. It was Framingham with a 6-2 win over Northbridge, and then Shrewsbury all over Grafton Hill in the night game, 16-3. A surprising final score. A one-sided game with Grafton Hill coming in with a lot of momentum. The most wins in the zone, but Shrewsbury sending a message with the big win. So Shrewsbury improves to 9-2. Grafton Hill with the loss, they fall to 11-4. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Beater, and it's on the outside corner for strike 3. So it's 2 up and 2 down for Milford in the inning. That leaves it up to Matt Shaver.
Now batting number 12, the second baseman, Matt Shaver.
And so there was early afternoon action at Holy Cross today with North County taking on Shrewsbury. Post 397 playing 2 games against North County at Holy Cross today. As Shaver now will swing at the first pitch and send it on the ground to shortstop. The throw to first base gets there in time. Sullivan to Stover for the out that finishes off a 1-2-3 inning. So we'll continue on with our update, setting the scene around Zone 4 when we come back next. A fast inning for Milford. 3 innings in the books now from Fino, a 5-0 post 59 lead here on My FM 101.3. We move on to the top half of the 4th inning here at Fino Field. Tim Coet on the coverage of Milford Legion baseball on My FM 101.3. Milford with 5 runs on 6 hits with no errors. Sturbridge no runs, 3 hits, 1 error.
Number 13.
And it will be batters 3, 4, and 5 due up for Sturbridge against Justin Metcalf. Tyler Stover will back out before he sees the first pitch of the inning. Metcalf now into the windup. His first pitch of the frame is low. Activity continues in the post 59 bullpen, but the starter still out there. Falls behind Stover by a count of 2 balls and no strikes. A real disappointing loss for Sturbridge in the Zone 4 day at Holy Cross yesterday. Here's the 2-0, and that misses outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Sturbridge was able to claw their way back in with a run to tie in the top half of the 7th inning. The game then went into extras, and Sturbridge able to take the lead at 4-3, but Cherry Valley able to battle their way for 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. They scored the winning run on an errant throw that got away as the runner tried to advance to third base. The winning run came in the same way that it did against Milford on a throwing miscue. As Stover now rolls it on the ground to Matt Shaver at second base. He picks it up and tosses to first to record the first out of the inning. Stover now 0 for 2.
That brings up number 17, the right fielder.
Again, Sturbridge has been battling this season. Now playing in their 18th game of this 2018 regular season, a 6-11 record. That loss yesterday ended up snapping a 2-game winning streak for Sturbridge, in which they had notched double digits in consecutive games, an 11-8 win over Eastside, a 10-5 win over Framingham before the loss to Cherry Valley. Now a line drive out into shallow center field off the bat of Avery Weatherby. That will drop in for a base hit. So Weatherby now with the 4th Sturbridge hit. It comes with 1 out in the top half of the 4th. And immediately a big lead for Weatherby at first. He's held on by Almeida. Does not go on the first pitch into Reardon. That's fouled away. Reardon singled in his first at bat. But then when Patrick Wilber came up as the next batter and sent a single out into right center, Reardon trying to go first to third aggressively on the bases was thrown out by Shawn Rabello with a good throw into the third base bag. Up on the right side now with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Now shows bunt and sends it too hard and foul over on the first base side. It takes a bounce into the Milford dugout, where Alex Gunfriday looks up from the pitch chart to toss the loose ball back in. Now the 1-2 pitch, that's high, bounces out of the glove of Beater. He's able to reel it in. Makes a throw down to second base, but not in time. Weatherby was off as soon as he saw that ball bounce out of Beater's glove. It didn't even reach the edge of the dirt encircling home plate, but just far enough for Weatherby to safely advance to second base. And now a 2-2 pitch in is swung on and missed. Pitch off the outside edge, Reardon chasing it for strike 3. That's the second strikeout of the game for Metcalf.
Left fielder, Pat Wilber.
Now Patrick Wilber at the plate. He takes the pitch outside for ball 1. Wilber 1 for 1. Batting with a runner in scoring position. And now out in front of an off-speed pitch from Metcalf. That evens the count. Milford out hitting Sturbridge now 6-4. As Wilber pops it up in foul territory behind first base. Tyler Almeida is there. He makes the catch. And that out will retire the side. So Sturbridge strands a runner in scoring position. 3.5 innings done now from Pheno Field. It remains 5-0 in favor of Milford. Post 59 on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on MyFM 101.3. The insurance professionals working for you. Batters 9, 1, and 2 coming up for post 59. Chris Brunt watching a pitch go by for ball 1 against Spencer Cipro, out for his 4th inning of work. And Brunt now with a sinking line drive out into center field. That touches down in front of Colin Eliason. And Chris Brunt on with a leadoff single.
Coming to the plate, number 8, center
Chris did see that 4-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday at Holy Cross, but he still was productive at the plate. He drove in a run on a sacrifice fly and walked twice. So he continues to contribute heavily from the bottom of the lineup. Aboard at first base, and now the 3rd trip to the plate for Shawn Rabello. Rabello looks at the first pitch for a called strike 1. Shawn's been on base twice so far, a hit by pitch and a single. He's scored both times. Reached base 3 times in the game yesterday against Maine South. Another check-in to first base from Cipro. He hasn't had a particularly quick move over to first base. Doing what he can to keep the runners close. Here's the 0-1, and that one's high. We'd initially ruled a 3-hit day for Rabello yesterday, but upon conferring with the official scoring from the team, ended up being 2 hits and also reaching on an error. Rabello carrying a .375 batting average into today's action. Ahead in the count here against Cipro, 2-1. And now swings and grounds it to shortstop. Sullivan fires to second base to get the out there. No chance to double up Rabello at first base. He beats the relay throw. So safe on the fielder's choice. Brunt out at second. So we'll see how long it takes for Rabello to make the steal attempt for second with one down and Tommy Ambrosoni at the plate. He holds on the first pitch that misses outside. We will finally pay off on telling you the schedule of games from around Zone 4 for today before the end of this inning. Ambrosoni watches the pitch miss for ball 2. It all started with 3:30 action at Hanover Insurance Park at Holy Cross this afternoon. North County taking on Shrewsbury. And Shrewsbury with a 13-8 win. A lot of offense combined, but Shrewsbury with the victory. The 2-0 pitch misses, skips away from the catcher, and Rabello will not have a chance to steal as he'll advance on the passed ball. And a 3-ball no-strike count to Ambrosoni. A couple of games at 5:30 today. It was Northborough hosting Northbridge. And then Wachusett taking on Leominster, and another game taking place at Holy Cross. Then 2 games at 7 o'clock. This one here, Milford versus Sturbridge, and also Grafton Hill hosting Framingham. And then getting started in about 5 minutes, it will be Shrewsbury and North County doing it again at Holy Cross. And now the 3-1 pitch, wafted over towards second base, ranging in as Langevin to make the catch. And Ambrosoni is out number 2.
That brings up number 11, the third baseman, Aiden Wild.
Now Aiden Wild coming up for post 59 with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. We can give you another final score after this next pitch. A hard ground ball foul down the third base line. Northborough picking up another victory. A quality starting pitching performance by Jack Choate. A 3-1 victory for Northborough over Northbridge. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Wild. He sends it out to right center field, down for a base hit. Shawn Rabello will jog home as the ball ended up rolling deep out into the gap. Aiden Wild continuing to hustle around the bases, and he will end up at third with a stand-up triple. That quickly scooted into the alley. And 3 bases for Wild. Rabello scores to make it 6-0 Milford.
The designated hitter, Sam Parker.
Another multi-hit game for Aiden Wild. He's driven in 2 runs now. So all of those stat categories starting to look a little bit more like what we expect out of Aiden Wild. Came in with the batting average at .279, so that will take an uptick after a multi-hit performance. And now up to 14 runs batted in on the season. Sam Parker now a chance to bat with a runner at third. And he'll jump ahead quickly, 2 balls and no strikes. Parker so far tonight has walked and driven in a run on a sacrifice fly. Now hits one hard to first base, but it takes a nice bounce right into the glove of Tyler Stover. He'll take it to the first base bag unassisted for the out that retires the side, but the triple for Aiden Wild drives in another run for Milford. They're now up 6-0 over Sturbridge Post 109 here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. We welcome you back inside Pheno Field for the top half of the 5th inning. Milford now with 6 runs on 8 hits with no errors. Sturbridge Post 109, no runs, 4 hits, 1 error. And a new pitcher on now for Post 59 as Tim Kenny will take over for Justin Metcalf. Metcalf, a solid start. He went 4 innings, scattered 4 hits, did not allow a run, walked 1 and struck out 2. And now Kenny, his first pitch is sent on the ground towards first base. Almeida fields it and uses the pitcher to cover the first base bag to record the out on Colin Eliason, swinging at the first pitch. Tim Kenny last worked on Saturday in the game at Cherry Valley and pitched a fine relief outing, ended up going 3 innings in the game, did not allow a run, allowed just 2 hits, walked 1 and struck out 5, kept Milford in that game. It was a winnable game for Milford in the end, but they let it slip away against Cherry Valley, but Kenny shining in that defeat, and now jumps ahead of Roman Krokmelnitsky by a count of 0 balls and 2 strikes. The righty back into the windup. Here's the pitch, and it's dribbled down the first base line, but foul. And of course, we do want to send our condolences both to Tim Kenny and the Kenny family on the unfortunate loss of Tim's grandfather happening over the weekend. Coach DeVito talking about that prior to the game. The team really showing their support for Tim in a tough time. As Kenny's pitch now misses high, sails to the backstop, and the count will now go to 1-2. Now the 1-2 pitch, and that one misfires out of the hand of Kenny, ends up going behind the back of Krokmelnitsky, and you could see Kenny maybe mopping a little sweat out of the palm of his hand on his uniform pants after the pitch did not break. Now gets a ground ball hit sharply to third base. Wild has it, a high throw over to first base, but Almeida pulls it down and slaps the tag on Krokmelnitsky for out number 2. And it's a pair of ground ball outs to start the top half of the 5th.
Coming to the plate, number 3, the designated hitter, Devin.
Sturbridge getting 3 hits in that second inning, but running into 2 outs to cost themselves a chance at a run-scoring rally. And since then, they've had just 2 base runners. A walk in the 3rd inning, a 1-out single in the 4th. And now a ground ball hit to shortstop off the bat of the number 9 hitter, Devin Kingman. It will be bunt to Almeida for the 6-3 ground out. That brings a swift conclusion to the top half of the 5th inning. Tim Kenny, a quick and quiet 1-2-3 inning of relief, will head right on to the home half of inning number 5. It continues to be Milford 6 and Sturbridge 0 on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. A week's worth of 90-degree weather. Cooling off nicely here at Fino Field with the sun setting. The lights on. Already now into the bottom of the 5th inning, where Alex Reynolds rips a foul ball down the left field line for strike 1. Reynolds tonight has popped out to right and flown out to left. Now the count evens at 1-1. The pitch drops in the dirt and kicks away from the catcher, Jonathan Reardon. Spencer Cipro now in his 5th inning of work on the mound. He's allowed 6 runs, 5 of them earned on 8 hits through his first 4. Righty sets, and now his 1-1 pitch. Reynolds sending it out into center field. Crosses Eliason from his post slightly into the right center field gap to make the play. And Reynolds is down for out number 1.
Coming to the plate, number 4, first baseman, Tyler Almeida.
That brings up Tyler Almeida, 1 for 2. A single, an RBI, and a run scored. He swings at the first pitch and hits it hard to first base. That sneaks under Stover's glove. And a multi-hit day now for Almeida as he singles with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Now batting number 3, the catcher, Jacob Nieder.
Remember to stay tuned immediately following Milford Legion Baseball for our Mass Renewables of Bellingham post-game report. We'll recap all of the game's action. We'll issue all of our post-game awards, including our Pepperoncini's Pizzeria and Grill Player of the Game. And remember, as soon as we close out post-game coverage, give Craig D'Alessandro a call back in our New England Bonsai Garden studios. If you have the right name and you're the first caller, to correctly identify our Pepperoncini's player of the game, you will win a $25 gift card to Pepperoncini's Pizzeria and Grill. And make sure you say hi to Craig while you're at it. A lead at first base for Tyler Almeida. As the pitch now comes into Jacob Beater, and it is popped up high behind the plate, twisting around. Reardon trying to track it, but could not get there. And I beg your pardon, it's now a defensive change behind the plate as Dom Brown has now taken over. So another chance for Beater after the missed chance on the pop-up by Brown. That's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now to Jacob, who singled to drive in a run in the first inning and then struck out looking in the third. Swings at this one and lines it out into left center field, just over the reach of the jumping Mick Sullivan at shortstop. So the second hit now for Beater.
Now batting number 12, second baseman Matt Shaver.
So Almeida and Beater have been very productive in these 6 and 7 spots in the lineup. 4 hits between them. And Shaver also has a hit in this game. He now stands in at the plate, 1 for 2. That single came back in the first. He lets the first pitch go at the knees for strike 1. We'll get to an update on the Red Sox game before this inning comes to an end. As the pitch comes in too far on Shaver, that'll clip him. He will head down to first base, the second Milford batter that has been hit by a pitch tonight. And that's going to load the bases with 1 out for Chris Brunt. So quickly we'll sneak in that Red Sox baseball update. The game currently in the top of the third over at Nationals Park, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Red Sox. And we'll absolutely have to get to how the Red Sox scored those 3 runs. We'll do it in a moment. First run scored for Milford as Chris Brunt drops one out into shallow right field. Almeida crosses the plate. Here's Beater right behind. It's a 2-run single for Chris Brunt, and that makes it an 8-0 lead for post 59. Brunt 2 hits now in the game, 2 runs batted in.
That brings up number 8, center fielder Shawn Rabello.
3 more hits in this frame for Milford. 11 hits now in all. And back up to the top spot in the lineup in Shawn Rabello. Rabello swings at the first pitch. He sends it out into shallow left field. That drops for a base hit. Everyone will move up a base. Not hit hard enough for Shaver to try to come around to score. So Rabello now with a couple of hits on the night. He's been on base all 4 times he's come to the plate. And now a bases loaded opportunity for Tommy Ambrosoni. So quickly, while we have time, we'll tell you that those 3 runs came in on a bases clearing double by Red Sox starting pitcher Rick Porcello. Stepping to the batter's box in the National League ballpark, and Porcello making the most of it. And now Tommy Ambrosoni swinging at the first pitch. He will drop one out into left field for a base hit. Shaver will score as everyone takes it 1 base at a time. An RBI single for Ambrosoni to make it a 9-0 lead for Milford. The second hit for Tommy Ambrosoni in the game drives in a run. And now a meeting on the pitcher's mound between the Sturbridge coaching staff and the entire Sturbridge infield. Post 109 in some trouble. And they will make the pitching change here, so Cipro will leave the game after allowing 3 more runs in the top half of the 5th inning. He leaves with the bases loaded and a 9-0 lead for Milford here in the 5th inning. So if 1 more run crosses the plate here for post 59, it will be game over. And so a tough spot for a reliever to enter into the game. We'll let you know who that new arm is for Sturbridge Post 109 when we come back next. A 9-0 lead for Post 59. They'll have the bases loaded and Aiden Wild at the plate when we return next here on My FM 101.3. Milford Post 59 now with 9 runs on 13 hits in the game. They chase the starting pitcher Spencer Cipro here in the top of the 5th. They've scored 3 times so far in the inning, on a total of 5 hits here in this 5th inning alone. They have the bases loaded with 1 out. Roman Krokmelnitsky comes in from third base to take over on the mound, inheriting an unfavorable situation. Sturbridge is back completely up against the wall, trailing by 9. Milford with the bases loaded and Aiden Wild at the plate. The righty Krokmelnitsky now fires in and misses outside. The ball trickling away from the catcher. Brown couldn't find it at first. It was only about a foot behind. So no chance for the runner from third, Chris Brunt, to come in. Wild tonight has singled to drive in a run and tripled to drive in a run. Overall 2 for 3. Now the 1-0 pitch, and it's popped up in foul ground, and that drifts out of play. A 1-ball, 1-strike count as Wild kicks some dirt out of the way as he settles back in on the right side. Now takes a swing and chops it foul at the plate. 2 strikes now on Wild. He has been prone to striking out a bit of late. Overall on the season now, Aiden Wild has struck out 7 times. Base is full of Milford runners. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's an off-speed pitch that stays high and evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wild, the 8th batter to come to the plate in the inning. Now a late swing, just barely able to make contact. He rolls it foul over to his teammates in the first base dugout. It stays a 2-2 count. Brunt the runner at third, Rabello at second, Ambrosoni at first. And now the 2-2 pitch, it misses outside for ball 3. And so now the game hanging in the balance for Sturbridge. A walk to Wild would bring mercy rules into play. Here is the 3-2 pitch, and Wild swings at it and bounces it to third base. The runner coming home, the throw to the plate is going to be there in time for the force out. And so Sturbridge with the infield in. The play made by Devin Kingman, who came into the game defensively, operating as the DH through the first 4 innings, replacing Krokmelnitsky at third. Able to get the force play at the plate, 2 outs in the inning. And now Sam Parker at the plate. He takes the first pitch strike. Long look in for Krokmelnitsky, now to the set. Here's the 0-1, and it's a fly ball hit out to left field. Patrick Wilber over, now underneath. He makes the catch for the out that ends the inning. So Sturbridge keeps the inning going into the top half of the 6th inning. Milford with a 9-0 lead. They send 9 batters to the plate in the frame. Continue to be in control in this one. Coverage continues here on My FM 101.3. Well, a nice job by Roman Krokmelnitsky to come out of the bullpen and preserve the game for now for Sturbridge. Inheriting a bases-loaded 1-out jam with Milford leading by 9, but was able to get a force play at the plate and then a fly ball out off of Sam Parker. to end the inning. And so we play on to the top half of the sixth with Milford in front by that 9-run margin. It's the top of the order bats due up for post 109. Mick Sullivan gets it started. Tim Kenny back out for his second inning of relief. He slings it up there, missing outside, and the count goes to 2-1 on Sullivan, who reached on a walk his last time up. Two balls and 2 strikes now. And now a ground ball hit on a couple of bounces to second base. Shaver with time to throw to first base to get the out. Fans, remember, if you ever miss any of our Milford Post 59 coverage and you're looking for a recap of the previous game, wondering who the player of the game was or when Post 59 is going to play next, simply text the word Legion to our MyFM text line, 508-473-MyFM. That's 508-473-6936. The MyFM text line is brought to you by the Dean College School of Continuing Studies. No balls and 2 strikes is the count now on the pinch hitter. Hayden Wilds getting into the game and ends up looking at 3 pitches before going down. Wilds batting in place of Jared Langevin. Strikes out on 3 pitches. It's the first strikeout for Kenny since coming into the game. And now Tyler Stover will stand in on the right side. 0 for 2 so far on the night, and watches a pitch miss down and away for ball 1. Kenny's retired all 5 batters he's faced since coming into the game. And now gets a chopper back up the middle. It gets past the mound. Wild on the move. Fields throws. It's low to first base. Almeida can't pick it, and it travels into the cavernous foul territory off the first base side, and Stover a chance to keep on going down to second base. Once that got past Kenny, you knew it was going to be trouble. Wild charged in on the grass. Had to field and quickly release the throw. Didn't get a lot on it. It short hopped Tyler Almeida's glove. He couldn't pick it, and from there it's an automatic 2 bases with the amount of foul territory behind first base here at Pheno. So it should go as a single and an E5. Puts a runner in scoring position for Sturbridge. And a chance for Avery Weatherby, who takes ball 1. It's still a 3-0 lead for the Red Sox against the Washington Nationals. That game in the 3rd inning. We will hand you off to Red Sox baseball once we complete our post-game coverage. The 2-ball, 1-strike count now on the man at the plate, Avery Weatherby. Kenny to the set. And now a chopper sent down the first base line, but foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And a Sturbridge runner at second base. Kenny's pitch fouled away high in the air and into the trees behind the third base dugout. Still a 2-2 count. The next pitch misses outside. An off day comes up for Milford tomorrow. Their next action will be on Independence Day. Morning baseball here at Pheno Field. It'll be the 4th time that Milford has played an 11 a.m. start time this season, but the first time they've done it here at home. As the 3-2 pitch narrowly misses outside to Weatherby. So after getting the first 2 outs quickly in the inning, Kenny's allowed a single and now a walk. Just the second walk allowed by Milford pitching. And it's 2 on now for the number 5 hitter, which is now Dom Brown. And Brown will start off ahead in the count. So the second pinch hitter we've seen in the inning. And Brown now ahead 2 balls and no strikes, so suddenly Kenny losing a feel for the strike zone. And now the pitch misses inside. It gets away from Beater, rolls off towards the third base side. Both runners will advance. So all of a sudden now, something cooking for Sturbridge. From 2 outs and the bases empty to now 2 in scoring position and a 3-0 count. And a strike pumped in to Brown, who was taking all the way. Runners lead away. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it's looped over the pitcher's mound. A tricky hop for Shaver. He'll throw quickly to first base. He picks it, but not in time as the run comes in from third base to score. That looped its way over the pitcher's mound. Then as it touched down on the infield grass, took a hop towards the first base bag, changed directions in a hurry on Shaver. He was able to recover, did everything he could to get that throw to first base, making it a bang-bang play, but the infield umpire ruling the runner safe, and as a result, Stover comes in to score from third base to now make it 9-1. So no shutout tonight for post 59 as Brown comes through with the 2-out RBI infield single. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Nolan Kingman, another pinch hitter. He replaces Patrick Wilber. Two balls and 1 strike now the count. And a ball hit on the ground towards shortstop. It's booted by Chris Brunt. Hit off the heel of his glove. He couldn't play it cleanly. Another runner reaches. Another runner comes around to score as Weatherby crosses the plate to now make it 9-2. So things getting sloppy here for post 59. All of this happening for Sturbridge with 2 outs. It's the second Milford error of this 6th inning after they played error-free baseball over the first 5. So it's now Brown, the lead runner at second base, with Nolan Kingman at first, Colin Eliason at the plate, and after a couple of foul balls, he's down in the count, 0-2. Set and the 0-2 pitch. It's in the dirt. Takes a high hop away from Jacob Beater right to the edge of the backstop. The runners advance to second and third on now a 1-2 count. Milford unable to find a way to get themselves out of this 6th inning. 2 runs home so far for Sturbridge, now 2 more in scoring position. And now a ball brings the count to 2-2. Eliason 1 for 2 in the game. He singled back in the second and now sticks the bat out and pokes it foul to stay up there. The Milford bullpen is quiet. Kenny back to the set. Another 2-2 pitch and another ground ball to shortstop, hit slowly. Brunt fields, fires high to first base over the glove of Tyler Almeida. And 2 runs are going to come home to score as both Brown and Kingman both score as Eliason ends up at second base, and it is now a 9-4 score. And Coach DeVito out of the dugout. He's forced to make a pitching change here, and what a collapse for post 59 in this inning. An easy ground ball and a strikeout for the first 2 outs of the inning, but since then, Sturbridge with a single, a walk, an infield hit, Milford committing 2 errors, and all of a sudden, just like that, 4 runs on the scoreboard. And Coach DeVito taking the opportunity to have a conversation with his infielders, trying to get everyone to stay focused. We'll see a couple of corresponding changes along with the move to the bullpen. We'll let you know all of those changes when we come back after this. It's now Milford 9 and Sturbridge 4 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. The new pitcher on for Milford post 59 is Alex Reynolds. Pressed into service here in the top half of the 6th inning after things went sideways on Tim Kenny after getting the first 2 outs. He allowed a couple of hits and a walk. His defense not holding up their end of the bargain behind him, committing 2 errors on plays that could easily have ended the inning. Milford entered into this top of the 6th with a 9-0 lead. It's now 9-4. Roman Krokmelnitsky at the plate, who kept this game going into this 6th inning, and now his offense paying dividends for that opportunity. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Krokmelnitsky, and now takes the pitch at the top of the zone, a high strike. Now the 2-2 offering is floated over towards shortstop, this time in the air, and Chris Brunt is able to make the catch for the out that finally brings an end to the inning, but Sturbridge able to do some damage. They score 4 times, and they make it now a 9-4 score. Milford in front on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3.
I would like to thank our booster sponsors, Grandma's Attic, Martin's Kitchen, Milford Lions Club, Milford Permanent Firefighters Association, Milford Water Company, and the Murray Law Office. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by Milford Regional Medical Center, earning an A grade in patient safety from the Leapfrog Group. Coverage also brought to you in part by Milford Hardwood Quality Flooring at affordable prices. And coverage of Milford Legion Baseball also brought to you by the UPS Store, locations in Milford and Franklin for all your shipping and printing needs. Roman Krokmelnitsky back on the pitcher's mound into his first full inning of relief after closing off that Milford rally in the 5th. Alex Reynolds, the first bat to come to the plate, and Alex takes the first pitch strike. Now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We'll try to take stock of the defensive changes for Sturbridge as this inning goes along. First a 1-1 pitch from the righty. Reynolds tries to check the swing, but he goes around. Reynolds 0 for 3 so far tonight, quiet. And this time he's able to lay off on the swing. They do check down to the infield umpire, who says indeed that Reynolds held up. A 2-ball, 2-strike count. Tyler Almeida waiting on deck. Here's the pitch. And a breaking ball that stays very high for ball 3. Like Nick Marcolini getting some throwing in the bullpen as Reynolds sends a rocket out to left field. In at first was the left fielder. It gets over his head. He ends up falling down. Reynolds circling around the bases. He's at third. He's going to get waved all the way around by Coach DeVito. He's going to have to hustle. The throw coming in now is not going to be in time, as it will be an inside the park home run for Alex Reynolds. Everyone's spilling out of the dugout to congratulate him. That was scalded off of Reynolds' bat. The left fielder for Sturbridge completely misjudging it. He came in several paces, then tried to course correct, but it was over his head. Then took a tumble down to the turf as the ball rolled all the way to the fence, some 400 feet away from home plate. And Reynolds able to hustle around for the inside the park home run. And now Tyler Almeida takes aim at the right center field gap, but a diving catch is made by Colin Eliason. Fully airborne, he robs Tyler Almeida of extra bases. And the Pheno Field crowd giving a salute to Eliason on making an outstanding catch.
Number 3, Jacob Beater.
May very well have seen another inside the Parker if that had gotten past Eliason's glove. Fully outstretched, fully airborne, timing that dive perfectly to make the catch, and certainly a contender for our Easy Way Car Wash Diamond Play of the game. 1 out and the base is empty, a 1-ball, no-strike count on Jacob Beater, who now takes a pitch inside. So it is now a 10-4 score after that round tripper by Reynolds. Next pitch from Krokmelnitsky, and this time the righty's able to pull it to the inside corner for a called strike. Beater is 2 for 3 so far on the night. Now takes a swing, pops it up. Brown gives it a look, he can't quite find it. And it drops down just beyond the backstop. Falling in front of a set of fans and lawn chairs just behind the backstop. They almost ended up with a souvenir in their laps. Now a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch on the way, and Beater will loft it over towards first base, where Stover will make the catch. 2 outs now in the inning.
Now at the plate, number 12, Matt Shaver.
So Matt Shaver now at the plate with 2 outs and the base is empty. Shaver tonight has singled, grounded out, and was hit by a pitch. Came around to score last inning in that 3-run rally. Milford scoring 4 in the first, single runs in the second and the fourth, and then 3 runs in the fifth, before getting their 10th run on the inside the park home run by Alex Reynolds in the bottom half of the 6th. Called strike now to Shaver brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. The next one on the way, and Shaver had to pull the back foot out of the way as that came in inside and low. And now Shaver ready to see the 3-1 offering. He lets it go, and a borderline pitch looked to be outside, but the home plate umpire says strike 2. So now the payoff pitch, and that is high for ball 4. Ends up rolling to the backstop. So a walk to Shaver keeps the inning going and gives Chris Brunt his 4th at bat of the day. Chris hits in his last 2 at-bats. He's 2 for 3 overall. Chris, a big 2-run single in his last at-bat. And now swings at the first pitch and drives it out to the gap in left center field, down for a hit. And it will be extra bases for Brunt. Matt Shaver hustling around. He'll get waved to the plate. Here comes the throw. It's a good one. Shaver the slide, and he is out at home plate. A good relay to the plate for Sturbridge as they cut down the runner. So a nice play out and left to make up for the miscue that resulted in the inside the park home run earlier. Just the 1 run scored for Milford in this bottom of the 6th inning. It's now a 10-4 Milford lead over Sturbridge on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on MyFM 101.3. Alex Reynolds back to the mound after he was able to collect the final out in the top half of the 6th inning. On now for the 7th. It's been Metcalf, Kenny, and Reynolds on the mound for Milford tonight. Reynolds now facing Devin Kingman, the number 9 hitter. Kingman 0 for 2 so far in the game. He started as the designated hitter, then moved onto the field defensively at third when Krok-Melniczki came on to pitch. And he's down in the count, 0-2. High heat out of the hand of Alex Reynolds. He accepts the sign from Jacob Beater. Now winds and fires and gets a called strike 3. Kingman down on strikes. That's 4 Ks now in all for Milford pitching. 2 in a row set down by Reynolds. And now Mick Sullivan to the plate for the 4th time. A swing and a miss for strike 1. Nothing but hard stuff out of Alex Reynolds so far. This is Reynolds' 3rd appearance out of the bullpen. In his 2 previous appearances, he's thrown 2 scoreless innings, not allowing a hit or a walk. One ball, 1 strike count now on Sullivan, who loops a foul over the backstop and out of play. Now 1-2. Hayden Wild's the batter on deck. And here's the pitch. It's high for ball 2. The Nationals able to get a run back on an Anthony Rendon home run to make it a 3-1 Red Sox lead. Game heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. We're in the top of the 7th inning now here at Pheno Field. Milford 2 outs away from a win, leading at 10-4. And Reynolds about to fire in a 2-2 pitch to Mick Sullivan, and it's up and in for ball 3. Sullivan hitless on the night. He's twice grounded out to second base. He's also walked. Now a 3-2 pitch. He'll walk again here with 1 out in the 7th inning. That's just the first base runner that Alex Reynolds has allowed now in 3 relief appearances.
Coming to the plate, number 4, Hayden Wild.
Hayden Wild's now up, getting his 2nd at bat of the night. He came in as a pinch hitter last inning. Struck out looking against Tim Kenny, as Milford was able to grab 2 quick outs in that 6th inning, but that was when Sturbridge was able to capitalize on some sloppy play for Milford. A 4-run rally in that 6th inning on the benefit of just 2 hits, one of them not even leaving the infield. It's quickly an 0-2 count on Wilds, as Reynolds takes a look over at first base. Runner starts and stops as the pitch is swung on and missed. Pitch up and in, but Wilds went after it. He strikes out for the 2nd time. 2 Ks for Reynolds. And Sturbridge now down to their last out as their number 3 hitter, Tyler Stover, comes to the plate. Stover tonight, a pop out to short, a ground out to second, and a single. And the first pitch is swung on and fouled hard off of what sounded like the helmet of Jacob Beater. And so the batter now steps out as Coach DeVito comes in to check on his catcher. Made a hard ricochet sound. Could hear the ball hitting plastic. And Beater now talking to both his head coach and the home plate umpire. Appears to be okay, and now gets a pat on the back from Coach DeVito before he retreats back to the first base dugout, so Beater will continue. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count on Stover with 2 outs in the inning. Mick Sullivan, the lone Sturbridge runner at first. Milford 1 out away from their 11th victory of the season. Stover now ready to continue the at-bat. Runner takes off for second base, not being held on. The pitch inside and no attempt to throw down to second base, so Sullivan advances on the defensive indifference. Reynolds now with his 1-1 pitch, and that's in for strike 2. Another borderline pitch goes the pitcher's way. Saw it for Sturbridge last inning, and now for Alex Reynolds here. He's ready now with a 1-2 pitch, and it's foul tipped into the mitt of Jacob Beater. That will go as strike 3, and Alex Reynolds ends up striking out the side in the 7th inning, and that puts a period on this one here tonight. It ends up going the full 7, but Milford able to defeat Sturbridge by a final score of 10-4. So indeed, Milford will improve to 11-5 now on the season, and with the loss, Sturbridge will drop to 6-12. A quick break here on MyFM. We'll be back to conclude things with our Mass Renewables postgame report. So again, stay tuned to our coverage of Milford Legion baseball right here on MyFM 101.3.